Teachers are quitting due to Generation Alpha. The teaching profession has always been demanding, but in recent years, many educators have found themselves struggling to adapt to the new challenges posed by Generation Alpha, children born from 2010 onward. With rapid technological advancements, shifting social norms, and evolving classroom dynamics, teachers are facing unprecedented difficulties. Here are 10 reasons why many educators are choosing to leave the profession due to Gen Alpha.
Let's talk about why teaching is so hard right now. Teachers are literally leaving the profession in waves, and the public does not understand why. We are now facing the reality that COVID has had a major impact on the social emotional learning of most of our students. They do not understand how to physically be in a classroom after taking 2 to 3 years off. There are so many things that are wrong with our education system, and so many people do not realize what it's like to actually teach in a classroom. Most of these kids need so much guidance and so much hand-holding. They struggle so much to do anything independently. They constantly need stimulation. They constantly need engagement. They constantly just need teacher support at all times.
Shorter attention spans. Teachers report that Gen Alpha students have significantly shorter attention spans, making traditional teaching methods less effective. With constant exposure to short-form content on platforms like TikTok, YouTube Shorts, students are struggling to focus on lessons for extended periods, leading to classroom management issues.
Sally, I love that you're trying to communicate with me via email, but when you asked me, fam, why are you ghosting me? I wasn't ghosting you, I just didn't respond to your email on a Saturday afternoon. Okay, class, it's super awesome that you're all comfortable in here, but it's not really appropriate if you respond to my discussion post prompt by saying, be so for real right now. Hey Derek, I heard in the last class that you yelled out, this sub is going to make me crash out. I love that you're expressing your emotions, but that isn't one of the breathing techniques that I tried to teach you last week. Hey Chris, I love how confident you are, but maybe it doesn't really de-escalate the situation when Principal Johnson is escorting a student out of the cafeteria and you yell, Principal Johnson, flex on him. Yeah, that doesn't de-escalate the situation. Hey, what's up, Brett? Hey, good job on your essay. One quick thing, when I read through it, I saw on your header, your first name was Risley and your last name was Bear. So it read Risley Bear. Love the confidence, but please just put your first and last name on your essays from now on. Hey Bobby, just got done grading your assignment. Here you go. One quick thing, it looked awesome, except I don't think skibbity toilet is what we consider academic language.
Try giving them simple instructions like open your book to page 27, and at least 3 will ask, teacher, what page? Another 2 will be on page 4, drawing dinosaurs.
Young Gen Z teachers are talking about the poor behavior of Gen Alpha students, and some of y'all are finally starting to believe us when it comes to how much we've missed the mark on raising these kids right. Because I have gray in my hair and I'm 36 years old, people tend to tune me out as soon as I open my mouth when I start talking about these issues we're seeing in the classroom with our kids these days.
You ask them to stop talking and they say, oh, I wasn't talking, while still actively talking. The commitment is unbelievable.
This is my folder of crying teachers, and they are confused and frightened by the behavior of Gen Alpha. They're saying Gen Alpha is defiant, aggressive, disrespectful, and rude.
Having to teach and work with you guys as children has been the most traumatic experience of my life. They don't respect any authority. You ask them, can you stand in your designated spot? They're telling you no and shut up. They're throwing things at each other. They're throwing things at other people, other classmates. You say, can everybody sit in their spot? I don't want to. I'm not doing that. You don't get to tell me what to do. You're not my mom.
Behavior issues have become a major reason teachers quit. Some classrooms deal with students who talk back, refuse tasks, or walk around freely, and teachers don't feel supported by admin.
Like, I'm not even trying to be funny, but these kids are... I'm going to just say this. I teach 7th grade, they are still performing on the 4th grade level.
I'm a middle school teacher. I'm also 22 years old. And I will tell you, by far, we are doomed. Like, these kids do not care. Like, I have kids, all they want to do all day long is get high. Like,
I need to ask millennials, why are your kids so awful? And more importantly, why do you think it's so funny? Your kids cannot read. They cannot write. They are ill-mannered.
Teachers often feel overwhelmed because Gen Alpha students require constant stimulation, and maintaining that every class, every day, is exhausting.
I've been trying to sound the alarm about Gen Alpha students and their poor behavior in their classrooms, as well as their literacy problems, since May of last year. But because of my age and how I look, every time I make a video about these topics, I'll get people that have never worked with kids or have never spent a day in the classroom as an educator give me lines like, well, you're just old and jaded. If you don't like it and you can't handle it, quit and find another job. Kids have always been like this. Nothing's new in 2023. And then we've got the droves of people that are trying to blame it on COVID and trying to blame it on the lockdown. Us not having any sympathy or empathy for students with special needs, even though I never talk about those types of students. And I'm always talking about general population students and the fact that this is an overarching problem with every single kid, even the high achievers, even the ones that don't need IEPs, even the ones that are highly socialized and have a lot of resources coming from home. Teachers that have been in this for 1, 2, 3 years are seeing it and they are talking about it. Teachers that are veterans like me that have been in the classroom for over a decade or 2 or 3 or nearing retirement are also saying the same thing. Your children are missing the mark on discipline. They're missing the mark on education standards. They're missing the mark on literacy. They're missing the mark on socialization. We can blame it on COVID. We can blame it on iPads raising our kids. We can blame it on the fact that kids don't socialize with each other enough. We can blame it on the economy and the fact that parents don't have time to help their kids learn how to read or don't have time to take their kids to the park anymore. We can blame it on all of those things, or we can blame it on none of those things. But it sounds like we're starting to get into a consensus here amongst educators that we have a real problem.
Teachers also mentioned that parents are more protective and more involved than ever. Sometimes that's good, but sometimes it leads to helicopter parenting and unrealistic expectations. Another trend is increasing anxiety in younger students. Many teachers say they now spend as much time supporting mental health as they do teaching lessons.
And some of y'all need to stop making excuses. You're just blaming the kids. You're just so mean. No, we are not. The problem is that we have this generation of parents that doesn't want to take accountability for not doing what they need to do to raise kids that are self-sufficient, that are socialized, or kind. And no, it's not the kids' fault. And why does it seem like teachers are the only ones that are talking about it? The people that are talking about it are the ones that work with the kids and not the ones that are raising the kids. Gen Alpha have been raised to believe that they are grown folks, that they can speak to whoever they want, however they want, that violence is the answer. Gen Alpha students are raised in a world that tells them that it's okay to be as nihilistic and individualistic as possible, that they don't have to care about anything or anyone, that they can speak to anybody however they want to speak to them, even though they're only 10, 11, or 12 years old. Most importantly, they are being conditioned to believe that they are immune to consequences, that there are no consequences to their poor behavior, to their rudeness, to their lack of care in completing tasks and doing well in school. They just don't care. Is this us demonizing kids for fun? No, it's not. The people that are talking about this are genuinely concerned. We are frightened for these kids. And if you're sitting back saying, oh my God, poor babies, like, I wish you would just quit talking about them because you're just being mean and it's not even helpful because kids are just kids, you are doing them absolutely a disservice to their future. This is not just an old people complaining about young people problem anymore. Young people in Generation Z, young teachers who are seeing the same thing I'm seeing with my 2 eyeballs, are talking about the same thing. You can call it an old folks complaining about young folks thing. Why are you demonizing millennial parents? Why are you demonizing Gen Alpha kids? Or you can step back and look at it from our perspective and say, gee, I wonder why there's so many people talking about the same thing. I wonder why there's so many teachers that are concerned about the same thing. We cannot even begin to talk about solutions until we admit there's a problem. Most of you whom are parents, because y'all are the ones that matter, I don't even care about the ones who are just trolls and are sitting back saying, school doesn't matter, yap, 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 mayor of Yapville, who cares? I don't care about you either. I'm talking to parents. If you are not ready to admit that there's a problem here, we cannot get anywhere near even talking about the solutions. We cannot raise a generation of kids that are this tuned out, that are this rude, that are this violent to each other, to adults, to people younger than them. We just can't do it.
Gen Alpha isn't easy to teach, but understanding what's happening in classrooms is the first step to helping teachers stay in the profession. If you found this helpful, hit like, subscribe, and share this video with other educators who might need it.